Hello and welcome to a different type of video from what I usually do. A handful of people have been asking me about doing a time trial in the F40 or the F50, and I thought I would show you what is it like, what are the phases, how do I adjust when I'm trying to set the best time I can set, even in cars I'm familiar with, on tracks I'm familiar with. Well, here you go. So here I've tried a braking point. Obviously it's wrong. Now I'm skipping probably 15 seconds of in-between footage for every single take here. Here, I back up the braking point 1 car length and see if that's going to work. And this is what you do. And so it's like, wow, that's really not working, which kind of surprised me because this car has better brakes, but I'm also having a lot more speed versus my Ghost. And obviously it's all about the car because it's only once I apply the brakes that I actually affect things. So now, I'm getting a braking point that's getting me into the chicane okay. Now I have to work on my trajectory and when do I get back to the throttle? And how much can I cut? Like I can be over half a car length from where I was to the right. So that means I'm not starting my turn early enough. Sometimes it's hard to see these things in real time when you're just banging your head against the wall trying so many attempts. But like this car just doesn't rotate as good as the F50. The F50 is not that great either, but it's got just a little bit more grip than the F40. They are both slippery cars. I mean, these are old cars. So this is old, like this is when it's like Ferraris are fast in a straight line. That's also wrong. But you see how I'm slightly improving? So on your left, watch this. So I think it's there's a second kind of a gangly tree there. That's what I'm using as my braking marker. And still, it starts to get quite frustrating. So this is why sometimes people say, well, how come you're not making a time trial video? Sometimes I don't want to put myself through all this torture. Okay, that's the first time that was a decent turn. Now still, it was not great. And you can see my Ghost is quite far ahead of me, even with my increased speed. But one mistake you can make, and I can make, is spending way too much time at corner 1 without ever working on the other corners. So, okay, that obviously was horrible. I'm just going to drive into the wall. So eventually you've got to start sometimes driving through and trying to get the other points really good. Because basically what happens is you kind of get corner 1 under your belt. Okay, now it's time to work in corner 2. Okay, I could take the second part of that turn, the left. I could be actually turning that earlier. So I can still be driving straighter. But finally, I'm somewhat matching and catching up with my Ghost. Now, I don't know where to brake here. So this is I'm kind of equaling it out. Oh, didn't handle that very well. Off track again. This time I thought, you know what, that wasn't horrible. I'll try getting to the next corner. And I can't just drive off track. I couldn't turn it without skidding. So sometimes if I don't really blow it, I keep going. Here, I'm frustrated. I kind of need to blow some steam, kind of angry. So one run where I total my F40. And you'll get a little bit of a look here at the front. Yeah. And then it's back to normal. If I don't horribly wreck a run, then I will keep on going. If you can't learn anything if you substantially blew a corner. You're not going to learn where the braking point is. Doesn't, kind of make sense, right? You need to be having a lot of speed. So that's the first time I came through that good, and I'm going to get an advantage on my Ghost. Finally, first time. And we're already 4 minutes into the video. We're probably about 7 minutes into the actual racing because, again, I've cut out quite a lot. Now, I did not drive that as straight as I could, which I didn't necessarily know. Now here, I'm not sure where to brake. That is very close to being, that's pretty good actually. And now we're here for the first time, and that was okay. Now we're approaching the Ascari chicane, and I know right before the barrier, there's a distance marker right before the overhead banner, there's a distance marker on my right. I thought, okay, I'm gonna go with that, see if I can get to the throttle earlier than the F50. And it looks like I can. So now maybe I didn't do as good in the F50. I don't know. So finally we're getting to Parabolica. And not quite sure what to do. Okay, I was braking a lot later than my Ghost, which might not be smart because look at that. You see I'm sliding. I'm just on the razor edge of totally losing it. And I decided, let's just drive this out and just see how much can I catch up on my Ghost. And just learn a little bit from that. That was not very good. So I'm back basically 4/10 of a second, let's call it. That's quite a deficit. And then we're back at the beginning again. And I just keep on trying. So I'm adjusting. Oh, I'm braking earlier. So there, I got off the brakes a little bit to try to equalize it. No good. Okay. So if you brake too early, you could lift off the brakes and coast a bit. So I'm trying to brake right about at that second tree, right about just a little bit. So I'm braking a little bit before it. Oh, cutting too far to that first corner. You got to experiment. You got to be willing to fail. So this is what you're seeing. How many times do I fail before I get a decent run? Well, it's quite a lot. Oh, that looks looked like it was going to be good. And then it's not good. Now, we will definitely have one good complete run. Well, you'll see a couple of complete runs. Okay, that was pretty decent. Oh, that's pretty decent. Oh my goodness. Okay, the F50 still came through a little bit faster, which is expected. But now I'm gaining. How much can I make before the braking point? 0.2 of a second. I hit 0.2. Okay, that's good to note. 0.2 is what I can get. Oh! Holding my own. Brake here. Oh, to the throttle at the wrong point. You can see my back end stepping out. And here I'm not quite sure. Oh, that felt too late. Oh, definitely. Okay, well, lost it. There you go, guys. It's a lot. It is a lot of this. And then you can start to get frustrated. One piece of advice that a person gave me once is don't try too many times in a row. Eventually, you get very frustrated and it starts to affect your driving. There's a balance. As I'm putting in all this effort, I'm finally settling into the car. Feels like I'm starting to move ahead. And so now I used up all my servicing. I'm just going to do a restore. You can keep on doing that until you get a decent time. Then you need to do a cloud save. But I didn't put in any decent time. I didn't buy any upgrades, so there's no harm in doing a cloud restore. Oh, I was losing traction. But I'm going to drive it out because I need to learn more about this next chicane, more about the next corners. This will probably equalize as I get to the brakes. Still not 100% sure where I'm braking here. Okay, that time I was braking a bit earlier. Well, let's see if we can learn something here. Can I drive it straighter? Ooh, that was close to off track. So sometimes I'm just watching the split time and see, oh, this is too much. I'm going off track. I mean, I saved it, but I'm not going to learn anything heading to that next corner because I lost it so much. So I can't learn anything because I don't have typical speed. So just forget it. Nothing, it just doesn't matter. I mean, maybe I could have learned something at the Ascari chicane, but whatever. Oh, you see that? I cut the left-hand turn quicker, went off track more than I thought I could, and I got away with it. Okay, then you take note of that. So I'm getting some gains here, not as much, but it starts to really gap. Okay, I was braking a little bit too early again, maybe. Then again, the Ferrari F50 is more grip, so he can take corners quicker. Really have to benefit of the drive out of the corner. Ooh, that's gonna get close. Okay, let's see what we can do here. Oh, losing it. You know, this is such a big run. I'm gonna keep it going. I'm gonna try to learn something at the Ascari chicane. I mean, I'm half a second back. There's no way I'm making up all this time at this point, but let's just see if I can learn something. Oh, that was interesting. Ooh, that was close to off track. I'm really trying to maximize this. Okay, well, let's learn something about Parabolica. I've got a decent amount of speed. Can I get this corner better? On the gas, losing it. Yeah, that's just no good. Let's go do a pit stop. Oh, wait, pit road was closed. Yeah, of course I knew that. Totaled my car, getting frustrated again. And we still have a ways to go, guys. So again, funny tree 2. I'm braking just as my bumper's almost in line with funny tree 2. Now that was decent. Still losing time. Just starting to regain it now. So we might not see my ghost. Oh, there he is. I'm getting on the brakes. A little bit better. Let's see if I can push this chicane a little bit more. Ooh, no. Getting all squirrely out of there. Still, I actually held speed, but I was not set up for this braking point. I'm sliding that whole corner there. My back end was out that whole time. See if we can learn something here. And we're off track again. And then I've just hit quit and retry, quit and retry, quit and retry, again and again and again. So some people might actually watch their speed. That's not always accurate though. I mean, that time, oh, I cut that too much. Good, now I learned something. So I noticed I was on the brakes just at about 301. Thing is, you don't always start the same. So sometimes you start faster than other times, which is very strange. Oh, I drove that in pretty deep. I got away with it, but I probably slowed down a bit too much because I drove it in a bit too deep, and you can see that. So I was on the brakes too long in the corner, which meant my exit was not good. And you can see that. I did not gap the F50 at all, but we're heading into this equal. Check this out. Now that's interesting. So this is my best chance so far. And that's looking good until it's not looking good. It wasn't good. I got back to the throttle too early. There's nothing you can do to fix that other than brake again, which is just going to ruin the run. Okay, so braking a little bit deep. Oh, that was interesting. Oh. Yes, guys, it's lots and lots and lots of this. Of going, oh, ah, oh. And eventually getting a decent one. Like that felt decent. And then it's not decent. You know, Speed Junkie, and a lot of you guys may not know Speed Junkie, but probably people that watch my channel do know, they remember Speed Junkie. He would sometimes live stream his attempts, which was really interesting because he would put in a lot of time. So for Speed Junkie, he wasn't live streaming because he was trying to get Group A. He was live streaming because he was trying to get number 1. And he did it quite a lot. Now, I mean, of course, he's going to lose some weeks, but he got an awful lot of number 1 finishes. So I remember there was a couple of times he got number 1 in weekly time trial and online multiplayer, which is pretty impressive because he would have been facing some hackers and cheaters in online multiplayer, and he could still beat them. So sometimes it's a matter of don't race when the hackers are racing so they don't steal all your points, because that's what happens. We are seeing more and more of those guys being dealt with. Oh, check it out. Oh, look at that. Very interesting. Oh, I lost it. But doing another restore. Okay. Learning. You're starting to see, like, the F40 is not faster than the F50 here. I don't think it is. I think that a handful of people are extremely good and would be very good in either car. So people who are better than me could get a Group A time in the F40. But I think it is actually, the F50 is actually a better car, slightly better car. It's F40 is one of the cars you want to upgrade earlier because with the last engine upgrade missing, you can run the 4-lap at Le Mans race in Classic Ferrari Showdown. I think I got that right, Classic Ferrari? Yeah. And that's one of the best paying races in the game. Pays really good fame. I've got a video, I'll put it at the end of this. I've got a video where I actually finished that 4-lap race in under 13 minutes. That was a goal of mine years ago, and I could never do it. To do that, you've got to do some cutting. But I actually pulled it off, which kind of a couple of times. So I made a video of a really good version of that. So you guys might find it interesting because it is a really good farming race earlier on in the game. And the last engine upgrade, I'm just going by memory here, guys. I think it's 70 gold, maybe it's more. But I definitely remember when 70 gold was way too much to spend on something. Hey, I'm having a decent run. Okay, let's check this corner out. Come on. That wasn't great. F50 is gaining back everything I gained, but so far I haven't been approaching the Ascari chicane. I haven't approached it with this much of a lead. Now, can I get to the throttle earlier than the F50? Oh, I lost my back end there. Nuts. However, with all the speed of the F40, because that's one thing it does have, is more top speed. That's why I'm beating the F50 later down the track. So here, trying to keep all tires on track. Okay, is that gonna work? Oh man, did I ever overbrake it. And I had to take it there, guys, because I was feeling the back end was gonna go on me. I'm guessing that means I've got to start the turn a little bit later in the F40. Either that or get on the brakes a little bit earlier. Ugh. So it's so rare I'm getting to Parabolica that it's really hard to learn anything about the last turn. That's the difficult thing about time trials, is that you have to do good and then keep on doing better and better. I did the first corner good. The second part of the chicane there was not great. I didn't turn very well. So I'm not going to beat the F50. I'll equalize when I get here. So let's see how I do. Okay, we're equalizing in the braking zone. Kind of holding it. Now I can do better than the F50 here. Got to really push that limit. Oh man. Oh, that's no good. That's no good. That's no good. Oh boy. So you can see why I sometimes say, no thank you. I don't necessarily want to submit myself to a whole bunch of torture and anger and like all this I'm doing. Unless I get a Group A time, all of the time I'm spending right now is a complete waste of time. I'm well into Group B. I have nothing to worry about. There's no way I'm getting kicked out of Group B. So why do this? Well, some people are asking me, and I didn't keep a recording of I didn't have a recording of my live run. I wasn't going to make a video. So all of this, I'm not earning anything. I've only finished a couple of races, but every single race I finished is undone as soon as I do a cloud restore. Why don't I just service the car and watch a bunch of ads? Yeah, no thank you. The amount of currency I won is not worth my time anyway. But it's that's part of the problem, is you end up just wasting so much time. Group A is incredibly difficult. Like, of course you're going to find people that say it's easy. They're the ones who can get Group A. That was just a tiny bit. I kept it going because I didn't lose much velocity there. So I figured I could learn something at the Ascari chicane. And if I do really well here, I can learn more about Parabolica. Now that time I took, oh, look at that. I drove it differently. Ooh, can't do that. Yeah. Okay, you know what? I've had enough. I've had enough fighting with the F40. It's just too much for me. Parabolica feels ridiculous in the F40. So now I'm back on the F50, which presents us with a problem. What was my breaking point for the F50? I'm not 100% sure. Okay, well, I managed to save that corner, but now I won't regain on my Ghost, because my Ghost is another F50. So he's going to keep on driving off more and more and more. I can't do anything about that till I get to the next braking zone, which I was on the brakes a little bit later than my Ghost, and I took that really bad. Hit the wall. So I'm going to keep going until I can finally beat my time. I want to accomplish that. At a certain point, you do have to be prepared to walk away, because at a certain point, it's just way too frustrating, and you've got to be willing to walk away before you completely lose it. But at a certain point, it's like, well, I've already spent a half hour. I kind of want that good run. And often what happens to me is I'm just starting to get everything sorted out as I'm starting to feel very fatigued and very frustrated. And so step away, come back another day, you've got to recalibrate yourself a little bit. You're going to have more trial and error before you really are settled in. Not as much, though. Not as much as day one of doing a whole whack of trial and error. Okay, I tried taking that straighter, and that was unsuccessful. But I'm gaining on the Ghost, so I thought I better see if I can learn something about the rest of these corners. Oh, I learned that that was wrong. Learning. Now, a lot of what I'm doing here, I do have reference points for many different cars in my mind. So that's why I had a starting point. I was pretty sure I pushed that too far, but you just can't be sure till you push it too far. You've got to be willing to fail. So that's pretty well bang on breaking point to what I did the first time, but I did not come out as good. I came out almost, 0.15 slower. If I drive this a little bit better, I might equalize it. Not really, hey? By the way, I'm showing you every single attempt. I have not skipped anything. Oh, that was horrible. I mean, I actually did, I exited better, but I lost so much. But now I'm gaining a bunch. Oh, that's interesting. And there I'm not, but we kind of equalized. So again, once in a while, you got to just keep driving, try to learn something about the rest of the track. So I'm going to kind of go with that same braking point, but I'm going to start my turn earlier. Oh, I got away with it. Very interesting. Very interesting. So what's this going to mean? Will I gain? Oh, I'm gaining. Very interesting. Now, I don't remember where I was braking here, and I don't know where I was starting my corner. That feels too early. Oh, we're going to get... yeah. But you can see we've kind of equalized. In fact, I'm a little faster than my Ghost on my exit speed. Interesting. Okay. And there we go. So just 0.163 less. Slowly getting there. Slowly getting there. So you can see that you gotta put it all together in your mind. You gotta remember everything you've been doing at every single section. Not just where's the braking point. When do I start my turn? What's the trajectory? How far over was I? You'll notice I'm not taking 2 tires off track into braking zones. That's because the brakes are so horrible to begin with. I'm mostly keeping all tires on track when I'm braking. That's to really have good braking distance. And then taking this straighter. So straighter, I took it straighter than my Ghost. That was good. On the brakes a tiny bit earlier and taking this a little bit straighter. Getting some more gains. And this, can I do this? Come on, come on, come on. There we go, that was nice. That's gonna give me some gains heading into the Ascari chicane. So now, after all that, we're equal. So now the question is, can I start my turn earlier and get on the gas? I did that time. Okay, how much of a gain is this gonna get? Let's check this out, let's remember this. So the second marker on the left, you're not gonna see it yet. First marker, second marker, again, looks like, let's just call that 2/10. So, ooh, and I lose it at Parabolica. Oh, so we know I can take the first chicane 2/10 better than my Ghost. We know I can take the Ascari chicane 2/10 better than my Ghost, which means if I manage to do both of those two things perfectly, I should gain 4/10. Okay, here is where I do a proper run. This is going to be the run where I actually beat my time. And I brought down another viewpoint. What's down below is live, up above is the replay. So bear that in mind. The replay meaning I went in and captured the replay. So here we see I did not beat my Ghost. So I could be 2/10 ahead right now. Instead, I'm probably going to be 2/10 behind or more. So I'm 4/10 behind my best at this point. I'm on the brakes earlier, but I'm driving it through quicker. Now I'm gaining. Okay, so there we go. So sometimes I wish I could just take a whole bunch of my runs, cut them and paste them together. I'm sure real race drivers wish they could do that too. And you can't. Okay, now that's interesting. I'm very surprised I gained a little bit on my Ghost because that was sloppy, but it worked. Okay, now I need to do this. I didn't do this too many times very well. Oh, I went in a little bit too deep, guys. I was either on the brakes too late or starting my turn too late. And it's not a good idea to necessarily sit there and watch your Ghost. We're down to 0.12. How can I do here? Oops, slipping a bit. There we go, there we go. And you want to get down to the right as soon as you can. It is a shorter way around the track. Okay, I'm gonna be interesting to see if this actually counts. Because sometimes you do all that and it's not better. Well, there you go. There's all the pain of me setting a slightly better time and earning nothing for it, but hope you liked the video. Bye-bye now.